All right. Bismillah. Bismillah. Inna alhamdulillahi wa kafa. والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فسلام الله على القوم أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. Just gonna wait for some people to tune in. Uh, we've We are back with MindTrap. Allahu Akbar. And as always, here to share some epic and just very soul inspiring conversations, inshallah. And who better than to resume this amazing series with than our own beloved and esteemed guest, Shaykh Sidi Iqbal, who requires no introduction. He's been on the show many a times and really just sharing invaluable gems with us. Somebody very dear to me and many of you as well. So just bring on Sheikh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Wa alaikum assalam.
Good to be back.
Allah. Wow, it's always a pleasure. As I can see, those of you just tuning in, you're more than welcome to click like and share, right? And so, fresh. This is it's the noor that you guys bestow upon us. So, Sheikh, wow, it's been quite a while. And I know, there's been, as always, I guess, many things taking place, life. Yeah, we were just connecting that you've recently also traveled to the holy land of Tunis, Allahu Akbar, as did I. So that's very, yeah. I mean, I'd love to get, just pick up with some of your reflections on that and just allow things to unfold.
It's I came back sad actually. Sad in the sense that I know we South Asian Muslims we put down our culture and our practices, but then when you see you go to Tunisia and because of colonialism and then the after effects of the colonialists, I'm reminded by I don't know if you Aftab from Bristol. He's moved to Australia now.
Aftab Malik was
Aftab Malik, yes.
Aftab Malik,
right. He wrote that book, The Broken Chain.
Since I've spoken to him. Yeah,
it's been ages. May Allah protect him, preserve him, and give him the best in this world and the akhirah. The broken chain thing. Similarly, he wrote a book. And in Tunisia, you see that it's broke because if we had imams like the great Sahnoun, or Ibn Abu Muhammad, Ibn Abi Zayd al-Kairwani. Imam, did you get to Imam Sahnoun's tomb?
I did, I did. I got to Sahnoun's. It was interesting because nobody really, the people didn't really know these tombs or anything. They didn't know, hadn't really heard of them. Maybe they've heard the names, as in because, streets are named after them or colleges and universities, but they don't really know anything about them. So Imam Sahnoun, I asked our driver, we had this driver take us around, and he'd never heard of it. I mean, the thing he knew was the Sahabi, Abu Zuma al-Balawi, and
Yeah.
and he knew the masjid of Uqba ibn Nafi', and that's it. He never knew anything else. And so I put it into Google, Imam Sahnun, and that you've got his kind of maqbara, and it's at this point, and we just followed Google Maps, and it took us into these, cut us through some neighborhoods, and it said like you're 3 minutes away, for example. So he was telling me, this is definitely wrong. It can't be, this is going towards just nowhere. So I said, well, let's just see. And so we keep going, and it says like you're 2 minutes away. Then we came out in the back where there was just like open land and, and it just looked like a dilapidated area, like nothing. And so he said to me that this is wrong. There's nothing here. So I said to him, well, it's saying it's only 1 minute away. Let's just keep going. And, we'll just turn back from wherever it is. And it was there. That was it. So it was quite a learning experience for him as well.
Our taxi driver, he actually knew the area. The area is actually called Sahnun. The whole district is named after him. The local rubbish is next to it as well.
Yeah.
Before I went, I did research. A lot of people have complained to, the city council, and if you find certain videos of and even news items where the locals have gone and cleaned it up, but there's so much rubbish there, and the tomb's derelict. And afterwards we went, because it was a Sunday. I actually asked Ryan, because I wanted a complaint in with the council, but it was closed. And the cafe right opposite, the guy spoke really good English. He said it's not just the tomb of Imam Sahnun. The whole city is, neglected. Everything. But again, it's still, the building is still there. Then the same with Imam Abu Zayd al-Kairwani. Exactly the same.
How was that, finding that for you?
The thing that, as I said, left sad, because I traveled around. I was in Kairwan, then I went to Monsatir. Mazari's tomb is. Bourguiba, the founder of modern day Tunisia, his tomb complex. There's gods, there's everything there. Well, the cemetery which is attached to right at the beginning of it is the tomb of the great Imam Mazari, and beautiful building. It's not derelict like Imam Sahnun or Imam Abu Zayd al-Kairwani, but empty. And the thing I found really, to me, which was the opposite, the contrast was Sidi Mahriz in Tunis.
Okay.
Mahriz is the one who, because there's two opinions that how the Risala of Zayd al-Kairwani came
Ibn
about.
Abi Zayd, yeah. I thought it was Ibn Mahriz. What's the?
There's another.
What's the other? What's the other opinion? Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the other, but Sidi Mahriz is the well known. But his tomb complex. Again, maybe because it's in the capital, and the Ottomans built a whole complex around it. It's called the Zawi of Sidi Mahriz. It's live and kicking. It's not derelict. It's lot of women there, but you go to a lot of the tombs there, you find women there. But
Is that
the contract was that it was live and kicking, and the mosque opposite, which is named after Sidi Mahrez, but people know it more for the Turkish governor who built it. I said, look at this. Like, the one who authored the Risala, you've got to, ask, the locals don't know it, you've got to ask Sheikh Google to Google Maps, and he takes you there. And
did
while,
you manage to
Sidi Mahrez,
find Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani's with ease, or was that tricky or difficult for you?
he is. It wasn't a problem.
That was wow. So we
Yeah,
struggled
because
with that
what I
as
did
well.
is I had marked them out on Google Maps before I went. The strange thing that I did. Go on.
No, I was going to say, but the Google Maps take you, but getting into that almost the old Medina thing, it was because all the tight alleyways and everything, it just got you straight there. No, not a problem.
We arrived in the evening, the day before,
Okay.
and we took a walk, and quite strange thing. There's a zawiya there attributed to not zawiya, khalwa of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, and I said, subhanallah, look at this. The guy never even came here, but he's supposed to have done the khalwa. That's marked, and it's a big building. But I went round, nearly most of the Medina, near the Great Mosque, and it was really, really fascinating how many mosques, mosque and tombs of great Qurra that had come and settled there, which was really interesting, and they were, the time of prayer they would open, but Imam Abu Zayd is no, it doesn't open at all.
Yeah. What had happened is when I got there once again, I knew this was we got to the Medina, the old Medina, and I it's just old, it's those kind of old style homes and the alleyways, and it's crazy because I asked somebody for some directions. Our driver was, I mean, he was more alien to all of that than, which is surprising because I was under the impression he knew all these things, and he clearly didn't. Then we asked some of the locals, and there was this guy who, just almost looked entirely out of it, if I could, say that, not to be judgmental, but yeah, like somebody just totally looked like just out of it, and he, just dressed odd, and just this whole thing about him, and he's just, it looked like he was almost, I don't know whether it's high on something or drunk or almost something, but he so I'm asking somebody else. I said, do you the maqam of Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani? So they're saying to me that, yeah, you see that alleyway, go through that alleyway and kind of, and I said, yeah, but I'm trying to ask, but because once you go through it, kind of, it's not just right there, you got to keep going. And so he says, this guy, so this guy says, you know what? He says, here, I'll come with you. So I thought, and he goes, no. I've got to say, mashallah, you don't know who is, like what kind of mode of being they are, in a sense. This guy was an absolute, for us, like an absolute angel almost. Like he took us, I had my little ones with me, my girl, we went right through. He showed us completely around, he took us to the masjid, Thalatha Abwab, he took us to other places like that, the hand, where they would kind of hand weave scarves and stuff, and all of the, and he just really showed. I was shocked He knew it all, but even he didn't know the exact home of Ibn Abi Zayd al-Khair. He knew everything else. And I said to him that, it said back there was the street of Ibn Abi Zayd al-Khairwani. It must have been that. So
Yeah,
he's kind of confused.
it's in that street.
Yeah, it is. So I said to him, it must have been in that street. So he's confused. So there's those homes, some of them are inhabited. So there was this older lady standing by her door. So he asks her, and she thinks I'm speaking about some masjid or something. And I said to her, no, I'm not talking about the masjid, speaking about the maqam of Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. So she's looking at me like, I don't know what are you talking about? And I said, his dar and his. Then I went on Google and I showed her the picture of the house. So she recognized the door of it. So she goes, that one. She goes, yeah, you got to go back those alleyways. And it was where we thought. It was that street of Ibn Abi Zayd. But wow, I did think as well that, these legends and giants and so much could be done with just a tiny bit of investment. Like all they have to do, and people will come, people will, they would make back exponentially. They would make back money because it would bring in that. I know Tunis is trying to now bolster its tourism again. So it's, they're trying to invest again.
There's a lot. Tunisia has a lot to do to get people back because, Tunis airport, I wouldn't recommend anyone to fly into there. Really bad.
Oh, right. Okay, the actual capital, Tunis.
Yeah, actual
right.
capital Tunis. But
were you staying
going
in
back
the
to
capital?
I stayed in the capital. I actually stayed in Riyadh, right opposite the Riyadh I was saying was where was the house of Ibn Khaldun.
Oh, mashallah!
Really,
wow,
I was really
following in the footstep of legends.
And then you walk down. Is the mosque where he used to teach.
Ibn Khaldun.
All that is mosque. Ibn Khaldun.
Wow.
Yeah. But going back to the Mosque of the Three Doors, Masjid Thalathat al-Abwab, before the the Quranic manuscript that we have in Birmingham, which is the oldest. Before this manuscript, the only two oldest records we had from the time of the Sahaba was the calligraphy in the Dome of the Rock, and the calligraphy right at the top of this mosque, Thalathat al-Abwab.
Okay, I don't know that
because it's very old. But like a lot of stuff in Tunisia, that the locals are not aware of it. The government, the tourist people are not highlighting it, and they are trying. The government is trying to get the Europeans back because
they're trying hard now with tourism.
Yeah, but not for the Muslim tourists.
Yeah, they're not. See what they don't realize. I think it's something that other countries clocked, like obviously Turkey and even Morocco and other things clocked that there is much more tourism, even from the West, but from the Muslims or the kind of ethnic.
Yes,
they are bringing in much more than the regular kind of like white Westerner is not. They are drawn as well to obviously go on holidays and to those countries, but the amount of money that is coming in from these, from Muslims as tourists, it doesn't mean they're coming on Islamic tourism, but they're just Muslims who happen to be living in the West. It is a game changer. Speaking of the places, the companion that is buried, the Abu Zuma al-Balawi, radiallahu an. Yeah, I mean, that's something that Shaykh was like a very profound experience for me. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I didn't know that about of the Sahabi. My ignorance, I didn't know of this Sahabi being buried there, or much about this Sahabi Abu Zuma al-Balawi. Um, I mean, that's, I admit to that. I didn't know that. And when I was there in Tunis and I was planning some visits, so I was looking, who else can I visit? What's
Mm-hmm.
the kind of ziyarat? And so it came up as the most prominent, especially in Qayrawan,
Mm-hmm.
Abu Zuma al-Balawi. So I was learning about the Sahabi. Oh, this was the companion. And so we'd gone there. And yeah, I was mentioning this. I think I was sharing it previously as well with some people, that you see, we went there, Sheikh, and I had Zara with me. And so we've kind of gone in,
Mm-hmm.
and it was noon and it was boiling. And like I said, I didn't, know too much about this Sahabi at this point. At this point, I just knew he was a Sahabi and he'd come here. And so we've
Mm-hmm.
gone in, and it's quite empty. These places are quite, they have a caretaker there. And so we've gone in and just done Fatiha, and, gone in,
Mm-hmm.
come back out. And the caretaker, I, just donated some money to him, and we were
Mm-hmm.
going. And he, as we're kind of leaving, and so he kind of calls me back, Sheikh, and he goes, oh, come back, come back. He's saying something. I didn't understand what he was saying stuff first. So I've gone
Mm-hmm.
back, and he says, you know what? So he takes me back in the room, and he goes, I'm going to open the cage for you. There's the cage
Mm-hmm.
around the Sahabi's
Yeah.
grave. So I said to him, oh, there's no need, like, like, it doesn't matter, like, khair. But he started opening it, and he's like, and he says, why don't you just go inside, go into the next to
Mm-hmm.
the actual qabr. So I thought, well, chalo, since it's opened, it'd be disrespectful now to say no. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've kind of gone in again with Zozo, and we've gone in, and I've said, yeah, let's just do Fatiha again. And just doing Fatiha, and you can read the things. And I just kind of just touch the you could touch the tomb thing.
Great.
Sheikh, I was suddenly so overwhelmed with, I don't know what, like, I really like, it was like, my eyes became tearful. I no, no premeditated, no, in fact, if anything, I mean, embarrassingly, it was so hot, I just wanted to get out of there before. This is why I was telling him, oh, no need to open it, I just want to go back. It was boiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so, like, in that moment, like, I was trying to make sense of, like, wow, like, this profundity. So I just make my dua and whatever, and I came out. And then I was learning more about the companion as well, and just who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be known to carry the hair of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with him,
Sallallahu alayhi
and,
wa sallam.
and according to some narrations, asked to have it buried with him.
With him.
But
Yeah.
it just made me think, Sheikh, that places that they must have a kind of, like a hub, almost like a magnetic field hub, but of
Mm-hmm.
of what it does to a person's consciousness that makes it sacred. That when that there must be, like a charge. There must be something, isn't it? That, like, almost like a spatial and temporal, like a field almost of, whether it's going to be like a special barakat or a special something that maybe, not always, but it can connect with your consciousness and trigger like a certain, because I was making sense of that. I mean, obviously it's a very sacred place, but the way I felt that, and it was something, like I said, I wasn't premeditating anything, and if anything, I was unfortunately trying to actually get out of the, because I was thinking I'm just
Mhm.
sweating so much, and yeah, and it had me just really think about that how places, maybe because of events that have happened there or people that are there, or that they kind of almost have this like a field to them. So yeah, I just yeah, just sharing that with you, Sheikh. But so
We have precedents from this in the Quran.
yeah,
Sayyidina Zakaria salamun alayhi, when he comes on to Sayyidina Maryam salamun alayha, and she has fruit out of season, and he
yeah,
asks her, where have you got this? And she says, from God. And Sayyidina Zakaria says, if you can give a fruit out of season, you can give me a son out of season. So he makes dua. So it's there are certain places, because of the individuals, alive or dead, they carry this thing. It's like Great Mosque has this buzz,
yeah,
this energy,
yeah,
because people have been praying there for literally over 1,000 years.
yeah,
That
no,
mosque,
yeah, that is
yeah. And then
wow,
inshallah, next time you go, you should go to the Zaytuna. This is where the Sahaba
yeah,
were sent to teach the deen. The greats like Abdullah bin Umar, Abdullah bin Abbas, and others. And then Umar ibn Abdul Aziz sent the fuqaha from Medina
yeah,
to Tunis, and this is where the Zaytuna comes about. That this is where the people of Medina were sent. The adage is that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum conquered the land, but it was the
yeah,
people of Medina that conquered the hearts, because they came and taught the deen. And
yeah,
this is one of the foundations that the people of Medina came and laid for the school of Medina. To this date, it continues. And praying there is. I was literally, around the corner from it where I was staying, and it's an amazing place. Amazing.
yeah. Wow. No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And I mean the heritage it has and the tradition. I mean, what's interesting is that you speak of Zaytuna. Zaytuna, of all the it was like it was alive and kicking, as you said, Sheikh. Not so,
Yes.
only
Yeah.
within decades ago, and it was
Colonialist.
one of those. y- Yes, so and
It's the colonialists that destroyed it.
colonialists, but even during colonial times, it was alive and kicking, Sheikh. Wouldn't
No, it
you?
was live and kicking. But the thing is, the colonialists left in person, but they left their, replicas behind.
Hmm.
Because
But I feel that where did that go? Because it's if
no,
you look in the late
it's
1800s
yeah.
and the
Well,
early
Imam Ibn
1900s, and you've
Abdul
got all of
was the
these,
great
yeah,
Imam
Ibn
of the
Ashur,
Zaytuna.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But and all of
literally
them,
70s.
Sheikh, there was so many of them, Sheikh Salim Buhajib, there's so
Yeah,
many coming, like a whole tradition comes down.
yeah.
And then within decades, it's like nothing. Like I don't get how that disappears like that. I
Uh,
would, yeah,
the system got destroyed. The system got destroyed. It's like, I know what happened in the 1970s in Morocco. I'll give you Morocco as an example. The Qaraween functioned and continued to function from the day it was founded till, the late 1970s.
yeah,
When, the feeder colleges, the madaris around the Qaraween were
yeah,
closed and opened up to tourists. So the fee, how students got into the Qaraween, because they came from their villages, towns. They did their they memorized the matun, and they came to the Qaraween, and they would stay in the madaris around them, and then they would be prepared to attend Qaraween. And those feeder colleges were closed off. It was a quick dollar, the tourist dollar. And it destroyed the whole system. So what the king did, he moved the scholarship from the Qaraween. He built, a new state-of-the-art building, Darul Hassaniya in Rabat, and moved, the ulama there. But the old system was gone. We had finished it. So now, in the late late 90s, before the old king died, the famous address he made, that I made a mistake by sending our youth to the Middle East, and yes, that was one mistake, but the greater mistake was destroying the education system, because the resilience of our scholarship is that if you leave it alone, whatever comes, they will defend. The system is resilient, that it can defend itself. It's like I would actually encourage people to go and visit South Morocco, the Sousse. Yeah, because the Sousse, the old system is still functioning. The madaris are still there. The fuqaha are still there. And an example I'll give you. I don't know if have you heard of Shaykh Sariri, Mulud Sariri?
The Usuli, who has the
Usuli.
Yeah. I have his. He did something on the Nazm of. Is it like something to do with Shatibi or something? He has one like a 2-volume work.
No, Insan is al-Wusul. He has a shar on it, and then he has on what you are saying as well of Ibn Asim as well. But the thing is, he has his own madrasa. It's a massive building, and they're still teaching the old way. People come, memorize the matun, and then the faqih gives. But that system in Tunisia is gone. And we can't blame the colonialists for that. The French, I blame the Tunisians themselves. The neo-colonialists, because we like in Pakistan, and I don't know about Bangladesh, but in Pakistan, our rulers have been worse than the British, because the British colonialists, we knew that they were outsiders, but these people are doing exactly what the colonialists did, but even worse. And the same thing happened in Tunisia with the education system. But alhamdulillah, what the Moroccan king did was he recognized his mistake and then said, look, we're going to go back to our system where Ashari and Aqidah, where Maliki Fiqh and Junaidi and Tasawwuf, and alhamdulillah, since then, it's interesting how the Wahhabis just became Maliki.
Did they? Well, I suppose if anything, if it's work related, why not?
Why not? Because the thing is that that you find that there are so many. You can tell when they will say that I'm Hanbali in Aqidah or Athari in Aqidah, but I'm Maliki. I know where you're coming from. You know, going
Yeah,
back to heritage
yeah.
for Imam Abu Zayd al-Kairwani. You know, this when was it? Sunday. Yeah. Someone told me that someone's selling Qari Abdul Wahab Baghdadi's on the Risala. Anyway,
Okay.
cutting story
Yeah.
short, I went and picked it up. I've had certain sections of it have been brought out in
I've
print,
got some
but not
sections of it, but it's not complete.
this
The
is
one
12
I've got.
volumes.
This is what, 12
This
volumes?
is 12 volumes. 12
Okay.
volumes. So from
Okay.
Aqidah to Jami, there is certain sections that are missing, but most of the commentary is there. So I'm reading the introduction, and do you remember, some time back, from the other side of the pond, someone was saying that, the Utbiya isn't, a reliable book.
Relied
The
upon.
Malikis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people make that claim.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Imam Abu Zayd al-Kairwani, did the chapter headings on it.
Yeah.
And
On the what? On the Utbiya?
On the Utbiya, yeah. He arranged it, bookwise, and then chapter headings. And
Who? Ibn Abi Zayd?
Ibn Abi Zayd al-Kairwani, yes. And
okay, wow, okay.
Because whenever you come across his tarjuma, it's always there. He did that. And the editor of this Risala, the commentary on the Risala, is an Algerian guy. I can't pronounce his name. It's his PhD, the 12 volumes. And he goes it in print. I said, bloody hell, how could I have missed such a thing? And
wait. The Utbiya is in print. Is that what I heard, or what do you say?
As Kitab al-Hajj, the Kitab al-Hajj that of the Utbiya, which was rearranged chapter-wise by Imam Ibn Abi Zayd al-Kairwani.
Okay.
And so I read the note, and I said, bloody hell, I've had that book for ages. Because you buy a book and you're only interested because at that time I was trying to, why did Imam Malik write the Muwatta? So one of the stories is that he wrote it because Ibn Majishun wrote the book. Yeah. So they actually found that that book, and it was brought into print. Again, Kitab al-Hajj of it, Abdul Aziz ibn Majishun's.
Yeah.
And it's actually, that is a smaller part of what majority of the book is of, Kitab al-Hajj of Imam Utbi, which, the chapter headings added by Imam Abu Zayd al-Kairwani. That's a bloody.
Okay, I had no idea. Sheikh, there is, your mic. Is there any chance? Because I'm having a few people as well saying it's quite choppy, and I can hear it. If you can,
I can.
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
A lot clear. Yes. That's a lot. Was that the mic connected?
Right.
No.
Yeah,
If you had it where
connected.
you just put it a second ago, is a lot better.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, that's better? A lot better. Yeah, so yeah, that is a lot better. It's just it is coming. It was. Let me just see as well quickly in the section here. It was kind of getting I think the where you placed it was fine, It's just that it was
Okay.
being a bit choppy when it
Is
was
it okay now?
spoken as well. So let me just see here on. I'll just adjust this as well from here for you. See if that makes a difference. So sometimes it allows the system to correct it. So okay, I'll yeah. So okay, but Utbiya is. Yeah, I mean the Utbiya is obviously very controversial. People,
No, this is the thing now, that it's not, because
it's
you
not.
start
Yeah.
reading, it's not, because the thing is, look, Imam Ibn Abi Zayd al-Kairwani, what's his laqab? Malik Saghir.
Yeah, young Malik. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then his works are, from the Ummahat. So
Yeah.
at that time, he is arranging the chapter, the stuff into chapter headings, and then you there's the great Ibn Rushd, and his laqab
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Muhafidhatul Madhab, and
Yeah.
his Tahsil wal Bayan.
التحصيل والبيان نعم. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's his last work on fiqh. That's it.
Yeah.
He has no major work after that. And
I mean that in
his
and of itself
commentary,
is 20 plus volumes. Yeah.
yeah, and it's really one of the things I have to do is just write up because what I do is I get a book and I get post-its, and I'm sticking them in books, and the amount of post-its that I have in the Jamiyat of the Utbiya is amazing. It's literally too many, because there's
In the
so much
Utbiya. Oh
stuff in
wow.
there.
From the Bayan wa
There's
Tahsil.
so much.
I highlight. I take a yellow highlighter and I just go to I highlight all my
Yeah, but
yeah.
but then how do you access it again?
Yeah. So it's a good point. I did used to put, sometimes I used to have those little I suppose those kind of little bookmarkers, like you get loads of them, the little tiny stickers.
Yeah,
You just put
no,
tabs in there.
I just put post-its like
Yeah,
this,
I like that.
so
But it's
I
absolutely
know I can go back to it, because
because so this whole thing that because Ibn Hazm makes this claim, doesn't he? He comes up with this that when he's describing the Andalus and the ulama and the Maliki of Al-Andalus, and then he puts that claim in there that the Utbiya, the Maliki don't really consider it anything, and I feel that people are quoting him, but it doesn't really
when was
make
he
sense
Hujjah for the
because
Maliki?
exactly, and how can it be the Ibn Abi Zayd thing? I didn't know of that he'd categorized the chapter headings for
I'll
that.
show you. Hold on, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, go for it, Sheikh. See, this is for the Maliki fans out there, School of Medina people. If you do have any questions, by the way, that you want to share to the Sheikh, you can post them here. The mic is a bit choppy on Shaykh Sidi Iqbal's side. I'm not sure. Yeah, we can.
Shall I just change the port?
Yeah. Can you? Yeah, can you change the port because it's coming off with interference, and hmm, connection. I don't think it's a connection issue. I think it's just the mic catching interference, which does happen. So let me. There isn't a fan or anything blowing in the background. I don't think there is. So said the mic is correct. It's connection. Um, no, it should be connected fine. And I think you're just. Let me just on. I think you're just. Right. Yeah. As soon as Sheikh's done it, we'll have a look. I don't think it's the connection to the live stream. It's the connection to the Sheikh's own. Yeah, it's not because I can tell it's not from the system here. But yeah, those of you that are just tuning in, sure, do like and share. And if you do have any questions that you want to put anything interesting to Shaykh Sidi Iqbal, you can put it in the comments and we'll sure get to them. But we were just discussing, for those of you that have just joined, some of the great mother texts of the Maliki Madhab, and one of them, named after the great Shaykh al-Utbi, is al-Utbiya.
How is it now? Can you hear me now?
Right.
Can you
I
hear me?
mean, I can hear. So even that time we could hear. It's just that it was getting a bit choppy in between. Somebody's saying the video is choppy. The video shouldn't be choppy. It's the connection. No. Let's see. The mic is correct. It's the connection. But because it could be sometimes the let's see. So yeah, whilst Sheikh's doing that, so we were discussing the great mother text al-Utbiya, which became controversial. Not that I believe it's controversial, but that it became so, as some people claimed it was not really a relied upon text within the Maliki Madhab. So it is from the early generations, if you like, the students of Imam Malik, or just after, and they're compiling. It's in the early era where they're compiling mass reporting from the Imam, and so this is one of the major texts. Yeah, let's see. One moment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just gonna let this go past. I've got an aeroplane flying over. Yep. So let's see. I can hear you now. Let's see. And I can. So hopefully,
you can.
right.
Okay.
Or what you
Look,
could do, Sheikh.
here's the book.
Somebody's saying it might be your connection. Sheikh, do you want to what is it? Leave and reconnect. Shall I? Do you want to? Somebody did make a suggestion. What if you rejoin the stream? And so the same link that I've sent you, and I'll just remove you from here, and then you just come back, and let's see if that refreshes it for you. Okay. So we'll just have Shaykh Sidi Iqbal join again, because it could be that. Yeah, so the Utbiya, it's this one, one of the major mother texts that you have within the School of Medina. You have obviously the Mudawwana, you're going to have the Mukhtasar of Ibn Abd al-Hakam, you'll have the Majmu'ah, you'll have the also the Mabsut was also considered by some, is Qadi Ismail's. You will have you'll have Ibn Abdus's, what is also like his Majmu'ah. Now, this is known as al-Utbiya. It became controversial because of some of the views that he arguably transmitted from Imam Malik, and with time, some people claim to distance themselves from the book, saying it's not really reliable, it's not within the Maliki, the kind of pantheon of Maliki mother text, because it has the views of quite a few views. It also transmits the statement that Jesus died on earth a natural death. It also transmits certain fatwa on intimacy issues that are controversial and at times blacklisted the Maliki Madhab, the issue of, in particular, anal sex, for example, stuff like this. Now, because Abdus transmits this from Imam Malik, it became, let's add, alaikum assalam, Sheikh, we've got you back. And, right, we can try. I think it does have a little, like an echo still. So I'm not sure whether, in mic settings, it could. I'm just, I do have an option from here as well, but my side, I think this can only, but we could just try. We could keep going and just see how it kind of gets along. I was just highlighting that, that some of the people tried to distance themselves from the Utbiya, that it was from the mother texts, that it did have some controversial narrations like that of Jesus having died on earth, or that of intimacy issues or intimacy matters. Now, Ibn Hazm, if I recall correctly, made this statement as well that the the Maliki ulama don't really consider it to be anything, but that contradicts is diametrically opposed to the reality on the ground, because on the ground you have the greatest, one of the greatest Malikis of his time in Muslim Spain, which is Ibn Rushd, who is Ibn Rushd, the grandfather of the philosopher Ibn Rushd. And so he is known as Qadi al-Jama'ah. He is one of the supreme, judges of Muslim Spain. He's an absolute legend within the Maliki Madhab. Nobody denies that. He's one of the four authorities that Khalil relies upon for his Mukhtasar kind of interpretation. And Ibn Rushd spends an entire part of his whole life dedicated to writing a commentary on the Utbiya, which is, it spans today. It's going to be in 20 odd volumes. I've just got it over there. I was just looking at the number of volumes again to remind myself. So how could it be that book be unreliable? So that's a fascinating, an intriguing point.
If you actually look at, the Barnamij, like the
Thabt kind of thing.
That things you will find, rarely will you not find the Utbiya there. Because after the Mudawwana, they would have the Utbiya. And you've just got to look at, how many people transmit Bayan wa Tahsil from Ibn Rushd.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to have an issue with Bayan wa Tahsil. Nobody. I don't think any person could say Bayan wa Tahsil. It's like Ibn Rushd. I mean, I don't know how he even wrote that. How do people even write these books of that? Obviously, this is 20 volumes of our time.
And he just continues.
Yeah. And this is in our day and age, 20 volumes. In their time, it must have been, it must have been incredibly vast. And so I don't think anybody denies that. And also, Ibn Abi Zayd in his Nawadir wa Ziyadat does include the Utbiya. But I suppose somebody could say the Nawadir could be Nawadir, but nobody can deny the Bayan wa Tahsil.
No, the Nawadir wa Ziyadat can't be denied. You can't, any serious student of, the school of Medina, if he is not familiar with the Nawadir wa Ziyadat, with me, someone, who presents himself, as senior, someone who's familiar, has tafaqq within the Madhab, and is not familiar with the Utbiya,
Yeah.
I'll keep my thoughts to myself on that individual.
Sheikh, it just occurred to me, it could be,
Yeah.
if possible, do you have any earphones by any chance nearby? If not, no worries. It just occurred to me, it might be that the mic is catching like a small feedback loop. That's what it might be doing.
No,
So it might be,
no.
if not, no,
I
no.
have on my phone the. Let me
Yeah, no
turn
worries. You
the
you
Bluetooth
take a
off.
look, and whilst you're
No,
just
that's all I've got here. There shouldn't be. I've turned the Bluetooth off. Otherwise, there's no
sure.
mics or anything. Barakah. Yeah.
No, that's fine. No, I just thought if there was any earphones, it just occurred to me it might be
No,
the, you know,
I have
right,
no
okay.
earphones.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, no
But
worries. We'll,
but
yeah,
historically,
we were saying,
continue what you're carrying on.
yeah,
Historically, since the Qaraween, because there's a book called Masail of Ibn Rushd, which is transmitted by Qadi Iyad, and Qadi Iyad is a student of Ibn Rushd as well. And
yeah,
in there, Sheikh, I think it's Jinti, his name was. He passed away and not that long ago. And that was his. It's a 2-volume work, Masail of Ibn Rushd. And in there, he categorically says that after the Madawwana, the Utbiya was what you ended up with. So when you
yeah.
finish the
I would have,
Madawwana, you would
especially in Al-Andalus, I
Utbiya.
would have thought so. I
No,
would have
this is
imagined
Qaraween.
in Qarawiyyin.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is the scholarship in Qaraween. In Andalus, if you read the introduction to the Bayan wa Tahsil, is the students that are asking him questions about the Utbiya, the Masail from the Utbiya, they want
Yeah.
Ibn Rushd to expand on, and that itself shows you the status of Utbiya. That the students are asking explanation, so he ends up writing, the Bayan wa Tahsil, and he doesn't stop at just Masails. He just ends up going through the whole Utbiya.
Yeah. I mean, that it is definitely something, it's a fascinating discussion. One could ask, well, why do you think Utbi, he tends to transmit more of some of these masail that are deemed a bit more controversial as opposed to the other, why is it not in the Mudawwana? Why is it not in, although many of these are lost as well. So we don't, like the actual Mukhtasarat of Ibn Abdul Hakam, or the Mabsut of Qadi Iyad, or the Hawi of al-Laythi, or
No, we have the
or the Ibn
Mukhtasar of
al-Mawaz.
no, Ibn Abdul Hakam. Imam Abu Hay's commentary on it is in print.
Yeah, I do have
I
that, but
picked
that's
it up.
such a small,
No,
little.
yeah, the full commentary is in print. It came out from al-Balawi brought it out from Abu Dhabi. It's in 4 big volumes from the beginning to the
Okay,
end.
right. Okay, no, I've not. So the one
And
I've got is just one volume here somewhere on the
I know
shelf.
that is just the Jami. That is just the
Yeah,
Jami. And that was printed by Darul Gharb al-Islami. I had that, but this one brought out literally a couple of years ago.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
uh,
Sheikh, also,
let me show it to you. Yeah. Oh, hurry on. I'm listening. No, but it's in print. I think you might still be able to pick up a hard copy of it. And so, some of the stuff in there is eye-opening. Some of the discussions in there are
in the
really, really interesting.
I am definitely interested in picking that up. I didn't realize, but a lot of the books today, because there was the Mawaziyah as well, Ibn al-Mawaziz, that, I mean, a lot of them are not they're not as available, so maybe people can't contrast them. But a question would be, why, you know, first, yeah.
Sorry, I've got really, really bad habit. I'm aware of it. You know your faults, and when you do it, you realize it. So, my apologies. I do that thing, but no one can make this argument that, you know, because those works are mafqoot, that we don't have access to them. You know, the Nawad said that it's included in them. The works that are mafqoot, you've got them in the Nawad al-Ziyada. This is, you know, something that, you know, the favor that, you know, the work that Ibn Abi Zayd al-Karawani did was so tremendous that, you know, all those works, he put them all in one place for us.
Yeah, no, the Nawadir Waziyadat is epic. I don't think anybody could deny that. And but my thoughts were that, well, people could say that the Nawadir Waziyadat is, well, they could say, well, it's the Nawadir. So, you know, the fact that there's narrations in there, we're not necessarily, you know, they could be Nawadir. That's the whole point, that, you know, something Nadir was. And I suppose the argument might be, well, that's the whole point, that they are Nadir, rare. But whereas in a particular book, when, like, let's say the Utbiya, so the Utbiya, why would he, Sahib al-Utbiya, al-Utbi, why would he have views transmitted that are more controversial, for example, than the other ashab? Or is it maybe they just chose to avoid certain masail, and maybe he put them in there? And I mean, that would be the question.
My understanding is that, you know, you find that with, you know, later imams, they're trying to bring the school in line with the other three. Where, you know, the Utbiya and, you know, Ibn Rushd and the other imams, Ibn Rushd to a certain extent is already doing that.
Yeah.
But you find that, you know, the Utbiya and others, they are keeping the uniqueness of the school there. People of Medina had their own take, their own understanding, and it's, you know, something inherited. Its precedence is set by, you know, scholarship of the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, and carried on by the Tabi'een, which, you know, are unique. And sometimes that, you know, I myself have caught myself out, because, you know, we are familiar with the minor United texts more than we are with, you know, the Umhat. It's like, you know, I'm familiar with scholars that have memorized, you know, the Muwatta, and, you know, from al-Akhdari all the way to Sidi Khalil, and then the Muwatta as well. I don't know anyone who's memorized, you know, the Mudawwan al-Kubra. I've heard of, you know, from certain scholars that, you know, even the women in Mauritania, scholarly families, they'll memorize them. But the thing is,
memorize the Mudawwana. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You find that, you know, even, you know, the commentators on the Mudawwana, even they are not commentating on the Mudawwana. They are commentating on, you know, Badi's, you know, ikhtisar, or, you know, Ibn Abi Zayd al-Karawani's ikhtisar of the Mudawwana. Because the Mudawwana al-Kubra is incomplete work that Sohnun, and once he became the judge, he stopped working on it because he was a very scrupulous man. He was paid to do a job, and he wanted to do that job for what he was paid for, and then he had to feed himself and his family, and he worked on the farm. And the work that the later imams like Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani and Barabi and all the others that did afterwards, majority of commentators are commenting on the commentary, the ikhtar of the Madhb. So sometimes, as I said, that even I found myself that surprised that how the hell could I have missed such a point when Imam Malik says that the people of Sham they have Asabiyya. So how the hell could I have missed this for so long? And Imam Abhari, from his commentary that I was mentioning before, he says, look, Imam Malik is saying that the people of Sham do have this, and it's not the time of Imam Malik. He's talking about the time of the companions, but again, it's there. And so sometimes, in the well-known texts, because we are not familiar with them, we are familiar with summaries that have been summarized for us because we're relying on the commentaries. We're not going back to the texts themselves, and then we don't have critical editions of the texts. And I've been seeking since I have been a Maliki for a critical edition of the Risala of Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. And I have even people printed manuscripts. They've scanned and printed the manuscripts, which have notes of the other scholars of them, and then Sidi Abu Ajwan came up with an edition. But this editor of the Risala of Zayd al-Qayrawani, Shar Qadi Abdul Wahab Baghdadi's, he is the first one I've come across who has used 12 manuscripts. And
12 manuscripts of the Sharh of Qadi Abdul Wahab.
No,
I didn't realize there are 12 manuscripts.
No, the Sharh he's used 6 manuscripts. For he brought out a critical edition of the Risala.
Of the
first one
Risala,
I'm familiar
right? Okay.
Of the Risala,
yeah, I did buy one.
He used 12 manuscripts.
Right, yeah, I bought one in recent years. Actually, I bought it from Morocco. That it had it was a critical edition. I'm not sure the exact number. I'm not sure if you probably have it as well, but it was like a revised, and it was based on several manuscripts, the Risala of Ibn Abi Zayd, and I do have it.
But I've not come across one better than this guy.
Okay. Any interesting, with this new Abdul Wahab al-Baghdadi's commentary? Have you come across any interesting masail that maybe Qadi Abdul Wahab has any particular rulings that he's said that are just intriguing, or as he said, anything stand out from it, Sheikh?
Yeah, there was one because the well-known position of the school is that horse meat is a no-no. He says it's okay, and he brings amazing evidences for it.
That horse meat is what?
Again,
No.
Yeah, Maliki, the mashhur is that no, we don't eat it.
That's a good, it's a good point, Sheikh. Speaking of the discussion of meat, that because in the Maliki Madhab, you've got quite a bit of a spectrum of where people stand. And so I have a video as well um, called Meat in Islam, a diverse perspective, or something like this, where I'm covering the four madhabs. And it's a very lengthy video showing the whole purpose of it was to discuss diversity in Islam, because it ranges from one hand the very what arguably the Hanafi are perhaps the most rigid in food, to many Maliki on the other side who are arguably the most kind of liberal, open when it comes to food. Now, there are many. I think Ibn Qasim's, you're right, his view of that, horse meat and these things are not allowed in the verse of the Quran. But there's many Malikiya from other routes that have said, well, just bar pig, apart from pig, nothing else is haram. Even if it's makruh, but it's not haram. So, yeah, I mean, I wonder what your thoughts, or where you place yourself even, Sheikh, because so you've got that view saying, well, even predatory animals, lions, tigers, that they're not haram. They might be makruh, but they're not haram. Nothing. And Ibn Arabi, Qadi Abu Bakr Ibn Arabi,
That's a
actually,
well-known opinion.
yeah. So,
The well-known is that within the Madhab.
yeah, so they say, and I believe Qadi Abu Bakr Ibn Arabi, following the verse, قل لا أجد على محرما على طائم يطعمه إلا أن يكون
Yeah,
لحم خنزير or meat. This
yeah.
verse where he says is al itlaq, that because Allah says, apart from anybody eating, I don't find anything haram except this, except khinzir and meita and khinzir and so on. So that's the only haram things in Islam. Yeah, so that's. But then you do get these views where some people will say things like you said, horse meat, or using the verse of the Quran saying that therefore litarkabuha wazina, so these animals are for utility, so you don't really eat them. But yeah, I'm not sure where you find yourself in that discussion.
No, the Qadi's rebuttal to that is interesting. He says that if the ayat is being brought forward that they are for riding, then so are camels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a solid argument. You can't really. Yeah, it's a good point. But it's just that I guess it's one thing to say, this is fascinating, Sheikh, because many people, when they're addressing the Sharia, they seem to have like a very rigid binary perspective, it's almost as if they fail to see the colorful reality of life, that there's many things people, even if they're not haram, people tend not to eat them. And so some people, they can't, they struggle with that. Like they feel that it must either be haram, that's why people don't eat them, or if it's halal, then why don't you eat them? But it doesn't work like that. Like not everything, just because it's not haram doesn't mean you eat it. So this, in that sense, in the broad Malikiya sense, that, well, nothing apart from pig is haram, even if it's makruh, it doesn't mean you necessarily go and eat those things. People generally don't eat stuff like that, but it doesn't
Yeah,
make it haram.
it's like the classic thing that you get from at Maliki's now. Oh, they eat dogs and cats because
Mm.
that's haram. But I'll not come across any Maliki who will eat a dog or a cat. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
But again, it's just because it is halal permitted doesn't mean we're going to go and eat it. Different
exactly.
people have their own traditions, and people stick to them. It's like if South Korean or North Korean Muslims, if they happen to be Maliki, and their culture is they eat dogs because of the winter, to keep themselves warm, then fine, that will be part of their culture. And from a Maliki point of view, it's not an animal that is haram. But Malikis in the UK or the US or anywhere else in the Muslim world, we just don't eat cats and dogs.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
it
part of our
doesn't mean, and that's the point, that just because something is not, this is the age-old debate between, like the Hanafiya. The Hanafiya traditionally always, and the Shafi'iyya were always at loggerheads. They never used to really. It's like the Malikiyya were just majestic in their own world. Nobody really butted heads with the Malikiyya so much, but the Shafi'iyya and Hanafiya always historically at each other's throats, and not to be, but it was the age-old debate on the purity of bodily fluids as well, and the thought of the Shafi'iyya that a person's intimate fluids or sperm especially is not najas, impure. So the default argument of the Hanafiya would be, well, if it's not haram, then it must be edible. Like this argument that if something isn't haram, why don't people eat it? it's so silly. But this is but people don't, it doesn't mean that just because something is not haram, that like a tiger or a lion or these things are not considered haram in the Maliki Madhab, but it doesn't mean people go around eating them. Obviously, not that a tiger would let you eat it. That's another question as well. So but I've seen, this strict binary that people have. And I think an interesting hadith in line with that is that, the Arabian lizard, which was like a larger lizard that they had, the dhab, the Arabs eat it, and it's not haram. But there's like a popular hadith that, because they gave it to the Prophet and he said no. And they said, "Oh, is it haram?" And he said, "No." He said, غَيْرَ أَنَّهُ لَمْ يَكُنْ بِأَرْضِ قَوْمِي فَأَجِدُنِي أَعَافُهُ. My people never used to eat this kind of stuff, so I find it nauseating. It makes me sick. But it doesn't mean that it's haram. Like there's obviously cultural differences with.
So that's exactly what I was saying about cat and dogs.
It's so I mean, dogs. I mean, people don't eat stuff like that anyway. That's just. I think people would find that very insulting because cats and dogs are very dear to humans. Yeah.
Fine. Horses are very dear to people, but
yeah, they are. You're right. Horses are very dear to people as well.
Yeah. But Turkic tribes and Turkic, different descent of Turks have been eating horses for God knows how long. And even in Europe, because of post-Napoleonic wars, people have been eating horse meat.
Yeah. You're right. They do. People do eat. I guess it just comes back to a general, that thing of people generally go for things like poultry or docile kind of creatures, sheep, goats, even beef. It's fascinating that we were talking about this, that if you think about it, like you take the Desi community now, the Muslims, we're not vegetarian, we eat meat, yet beef was not really part of our diet, really. If you think of it, I mean, in the West now it's starting and it's increasingly growing, but you find that, for example, in places like a lot of people would say, oh, mota gosht, and they'd stay away from it, and they'd feel that maybe it was unhealthy or they had other reasons. And apart from, I think, the Pathan areas, they did eat it and do still continue to eat it, but a lot of our places we don't.
But Punjabis have always eaten, beef.
But they don't eat it much, though, do they? Isn't it like, do they eat it much? Like, I thought
Not,
they
not
were
as
not.
much as not as much as the Pathans. The preferred
Yeah, because
meat is,
we,
the bakra,
yeah, because we
from.
more like a lamb and sheep eating people. And
Yeah.
it's in the West that this has grown more, because I was discussing this. I said it's fascinating that, look, in a culture where we eat meat, we don't do much with meat. Like, it's surprising. Like, we don't have steaks, we don't have, like ribs, we don't have, like, you'd think people have been eating these for hundreds of years. Somebody would have thought, I know, why don't I just cut a piece and make a steak? But nobody, like, we eat meat as a secondary thing, as part of a curry, but we don't eat it primarily as meat itself, almost. And we were just discussing this as a discussion, that's intriguing. Whereas other, like, you could get, for example,
No,
the I was just gonna say, like, the Arab world, or you could get Central Asia. Like, you get these videos, like people in Uzbekistan or different places, they're up in the mountains and they're cutting up, and they've got loads of meat and they're making a steak and they're doing this. And now you would think, well, what's so different about that culture and like our culture, which also eats meat? All meat also has cows, has bulls, has this kind of stuff, and we do eat them as well. But we've never, like, through hundreds of years, never developed this culture to just eat the meat. Like, I don't. That's quite intriguing as a just as an observation.
um, it's a discussion on the history of food
Yeah, because
in
of the
South Asia.
Indians, the Hindus. Do you think it's that?
No, it's not because of the Hindus. Because the thing is that the Muslims are not the only one that brought eating meat. The Hindus were eating beef. Now it's become what it's become. You go to ancient scriptures. The best sacrifice you could do was, you would sacrifice a bull to their gods. So once it was sacrificed, the meat was eaten. Yes, they would sacrifice, a bull rather than, a cow. But the meat was eaten. The different ways of cooking, the meat, Turks came, the Persians came, the Arabs before them. So certain ways of cooking, even the halim, and the different way of cooking meat with certain grains, and those are the interaction with different races of Muslims that came, and how we our diet is more, there's a lot more vegetables and the variety of vegetable dishes, and the pulses, and then and the meat is always there. I know. Have you heard of a dish called pasanda?
Sorry, it broke up a bit there. I didn't catch that.
Pasanda. It's big
No.
pasanda. It's a big, like a small stick.
Okay.
It's thinner, but it's cooked. It's a big dish. It's called pasanda. It's
Okay.
it's a it,
But
but
yeah.
beef has always been part. It, you'll find that the buffalo was slaughtered more than the normal cow was for beef, and even still, even the Pathans, they prefer the buffalo over the
Yeah,
cow.
because
The
no,
taste of the
because
meat.
it's like there's so many of these things there, the buffaloes and the bears and all of there's so many, but I just thought it's an interesting observation that we generally, I think over there, people use them for things like dairy and other things, but they don't use them primarily for food. And maybe that's a secondary purpose of it. Like they sometimes have it, but they generally resort to lamb, sheep, that kind of stuff. You've got the mutton, you've got goats, you've got stuff like that. And I just thought that's intriguing. Maybe is it because of the sensitivity to the Hindu culture that they avoided?
No, I don't think that. I was revisiting, Imam Qafi's work on Nia, al-Nia, and he says eating meat is fardul kifaya.
Eating what? Eating meat.
Which is interesting.
Or eating meat is fardul kifaya.
Fardul kifaya. I said this is interesting.
It is wild though, because when we think about it, it's like when you see, it's such a part of our lifestyle, and I definitely as could not be vegan or vegetarian, but it's so almost dissociated, because the actual thought, the actual sacrificing, like I've never actually ever sacrificed an animal, and it's a bit like when Abu Bakr ibn Arabi said as well that I've never, like, I don't know if I could bring myself to doing it, Sheikh. I find it.
No, seriously, you've got to.
Seriously,
I'll tell you, like you, I had never.
Oh my God, I'd be gutted.
I had not even killed, slaughtered a chicken.
And, Abu Bakr ibn Arabi said that, didn't he?
On one Eid. Yeah, but I ended up slaughtering 9 cows in one day.
Slaughtering what? Sorry, what did you say?
9 cows.
9 cows. You did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And
I couldn't do it, Sheikh.
After that, if I convince me that you want beef every day, I will say go and slaughter a cow and then talk to me.
I can't. When you're in Pakistan, when I studied in Pakistan, lived in Pakistan, obviously there was so many times, you'd witness slaughtering. I mean, it wasn't all the time, but every now and then. And in the village, I remember this one time they were sacrificing this goat, our own goat. Like we had this goat, and goat kids. So baby goats are the cutest thing ever. Like I think they're just like, it's amazing how cute a baby goat is. Like a kid, it's just so cute. And so this goat had like 2, kids, 2 baby goats or whatever, and so they were sacrificing it, and astaghfirullah, like the way it kind of crushed my heart, the way it cried out. And I just couldn't, like, I thought to myself, I don't know, I guess, to people, maybe it's a double, because I do eat meat, and I think we are made for, and the animals, Allah has created them for humans. But it is such a, I don't know, like I found it so difficult, that scene where the kid cried, and I just witnessed the goat doing this, and I thought to myself, damn, I could never do that, man. Like I thought, I don't know, it sounds like, yeah, but there is, I get it, it's the ecosystem, and it is the way, and it is a sacrificing of Allah. I understand that, but yeah, it's wow. I mean, maybe it's I don't know. That's just a thought, an observation.
Just to take another life, to make sure that other people have something to eat. If physically, there's something that happens within you. Spiritually, it's an experience to be had, because
Yeah,
you're
I can
literally
understand.
taking it on.
Ya
And then
Allah.
you appreciate meat a lot more because that animal died so you could have, your taste buds tingled.
Damn. That's yeah. I mean, there is a whole responsibility in that, isn't there? That you, in a way, like that you've had to take the life of these animals so you can eat, so you can
It's
enjoy.
just like,
Not damn,
yeah, it's not that you need to, it's just, you want your taste buds and you want that taste. It's not that you
damn. It
need
is
it,
so
you
true.
don't need it. And it's, you
Yes,
know, and then we
yeah,
don't appreciate the food. We don't appreciate it.
that is true. We I think, is there anything more ungrateful than insan? That's
No.
ya salam. We have been getting a bit more of people saying about the what about
Fine.
the the lagging and the mic. Okay, I mean, it has been 1.5 hour. What we'll do is
Yeah.
we'll wrap this then, Sheikh, and if it's okay with you, we'll circle back again as well, and
Inshallah.
because there's another two
Inshallah.
people saying, look, that it's kind of it's lagging a bit. So, but yeah, we were just speaking about, for those of you that hopefully when it's playing on YouTube, it kind of it adjusts the lagging part. But we were just highlighting that how the the just the great responsibility, I guess, or the kind of awe associated with that Allah has permitted for us to eat meat, and you take a life to really satiate what is what I guess borderline luxury, because even though maybe
It's not
we
borderline.
do.
It's not borderline. It's luxury.
It is luxury.
It's really, yeah,
Sheikh
it
is
is
being
luxury.
straightforward. It is luxury, and because we
It
could
is.
just live off vegetables, we could as human beings.
No, no, no.
But
The thing is, we could live off, forms of protein,
yeah,
precious
but
protein. There's so much forms of protein that we could have from the sea. And it, this whole thing of uh, we are supposed to be stewards, but we're behaving so badly as stewards. Um, the animals are not raised ethically,
yeah,
and then we're not ethical in what we consume. If we were more ethical in what we consume, then we wouldn't need so much slaughter of animals.
yeah, no, yeah, salam. It is, when we think of it, it is a huge, like Allah says, it is an amana, isn't it? عرضنا الأمانة على
Yes.
السماوات والأرض. So Allah did give the amana, and I suppose insan took it, but as Allah says, insan is excessively ungrateful. So it is a daunting and a thought, just sitting with that realization. Yeah. So shukran once again,
Inshallah.
Sheikh. Allah
You're
bless
welcome.
you for really taking the time out.
Inshallah.
I know it is a bit late, and if it's okay with you, we'll circle back and we will definitely
Inshallah.
want to get
No
more
problem.
gems from you. Sheikh, are your lessons are still going? The Urdu. I know you've been teaching Maliki Fiqh in Urdu as well. For the viewers that don't know, Sheikh has been doing that. I take it they're coming
It's
along
on
well, and
Saturdays. Alhamdulillah.
It's on
They're
WhatsApp
every Saturday.
every Saturday.
Every Saturday, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, British time, UK time.
UK time. So every Saturday, people, between 4 to
Yeah.
6 p.m. afternoon, UK time, Shaykh Sidi Iqbal is teaching Maliki Fiqh, and that's in Urdu. I'll also share a link to your YouTube channel in the description for this video. Guys, do make sure you head over to it, like it, subscribe, click the notification icon. Do be a part of it. I think it's a beautiful journey, and I feel that there's in life one must have certain things that are passionate to them. What is life without passion? And there must be some some things that you have that fire about, and one of them is always fiqh. I find it, and especially the school of Medina. So that is something that the fire always burns for in my heart. So guys, it is something, and it has a joy to it. It has a it just has something so enveloping about it. So yeah, become a part of it, like it, enjoy it, learn it, and leave your thoughts, leave a comment, things like that. Somebody said go live more often. Yeah, we will, inshallah. Shukran, Allah bless you all. And do look out for that link and subscribe to Shaykh Sidi Iqbal's channel as well. So Shaykh,
it's not my
shukran.
channel, it's the channel of the Pakistani brothers who are running the lessons. They've set up the channel.
Okay.
It's not
That's
my
the
channel.
Urdu
I don't have a
Maliki
channel.
Fiqh.
Yeah,
You don't have
I don't have a channel. I don't.
Shaykh, you have channels with an S, and they Subulullahi kathira, and they're all
Alhamdulillah. They've got a Facebook page. I think it's called the Maliki Madhb in the Barakah-field or something like that on Facebook. So alhamdulillah, they're a good bunch of brothers, because it's an alternative to the status quo in Pakistan. But alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Guys, right. And somebody said more on Ibn Arabi, inshallah. Definitely. We have to talk about that in the coming.
Which one? Which one?
We can talk about both, but I think they mean the mystic, the legendary mystic. That's
they
what
should
I
read him. They should read him. And it's really, really, really important, because just as Qadi Abu Bakr ibn alAraby is misunderstood, so is Shaykh al-Akbar. And the reason they are misunderstood is people don't read them. People rely on translations, but they don't read the original works of Qadi Abu Bakr ibn alAraby or of Shaykh al-Akbar. And I would recommend that learn Arabic and go and read the original Futuhat rather than the translations or someone's interpretation of them, because you will find them the soundest people that and the soundest scholarship that we have in the Deen. And the beauty of the School of Medina is that both if you may Allah give you tawfiq, in the spiritual realm, to meet both of them and to sit with both of them and have a conversation, or be the silent witness to both having a conversation, and you will come back, and that's a conversation to be had, inshallah. Anyway, because the thing is that there is no difference. There is no difference between the understanding of Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi and Shaykh al-Akbar, Abu Hatim ibn Arabi. Because the thing is that, you
Allah.
know, the depth and understanding that they have,
Yeah,
inshallah, you know, Ibn Rushd, you know, the philosopher,
yeah,
and because he's a Maliki Fiqh
yeah, of
as well as
course, of
being a
course. Yeah,
philosopher, uh, you know, both of them met.
yeah, 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 yeah. And he's
Yeah,
the kind of the mystical encounter that they have, the dialogue, the exchange.
yeah, but both of them, uh, except that both of them are on the same journey.
Yeah,
The journey is the same.
yeah,
It's like, you know, uh, uh, the people of God say that, you know, every human being's journey to, you know, his make is unique. And
yeah,
you read the Futuhat, you know, and his insight into, you know, the nusus of the deen, the Kitab and Sunnah, that's where he's getting it from. He's not getting it from anywhere else. And it's the
yeah,
same with alAraby. You know, you know, I would recommend anyone, you know, who's into, you know, Shaykh al-Akbar, that they get the Siraj al-Muridin of Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi and read
Allah.
both of
Yeah,
them. Read both of them. Because the thing is that at the end of the day, we're all trying to understand the ununderstandable.
yeah.
We're trying to make
To
sense.
comprehend the incomprehensible. Yeah,
Incomprehensible. And
yeah,
we have, you know, the Kitab and we have the Sunnah. And then, you know, what Mawla Ali alayhi salam said, we have the understanding that comes from them both. And it's that understanding that, you know, because you are at a certain level or at, you know, a certain point on the journey, while, you know, some people are above you, others are below you. So the people below you won't understand you, while, you know, the people that are above you, you won't understand them.
yeah.
And it's just comprehending that we are on those, we're all on the journey, and where we are, um, that's, you know, our understanding of those nusus.
Mm.
And then, you know,
Allah.
the understanding you get from those nusus, that is, you know, uniquely yours. And
Yeah.
Naim, I can't tell you how many times I have had an opinion, and, you know, 5 years later, or, you know, 6 years later, I've ended up with a work, and I I'm not one of those that goes into sajda because, you know, something has clicked, that your opinion is, you know, that of, you
Yeah.
know, one of the great imams. But, you know, you thank Allah that, how the hell did
Yeah.
I arrive at that?
Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But it's understanding, you know, the greats of our people are not familiar with, you know, the way of Tasawwuf of Andalusia and the Maghrib. Because, you know, you
Allah.
get a taste of it with Shaykh al-Akbar, but then people don't realize that, you know, Qadi Iyad was a Sufi. Qadi
Mm.
Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi, Ibn Barjan was a Sufi. And, you know, Ibn Barjan,
Yeah,
I
Ibn
would
Barajan. Yeah.
recommend anyone, you know, I tell you, if you are going to Marrakesh, go and visit
Yeah.
that Imam. Actually, go and
W-
pray your prayers there,
Is is he
and
buried
receive
in
something of God.
Marrakesh? Is he? Ibn
He's
Barajan.
buried in Marrakesh. He's just a stone's throw from Jamal Fana.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He's literally a
Right.
stone's
Okay. I
throw
didn't
from
realize
Jamal
Ibn
Fana.
Barajan was buried
All
there.
his mosque, his mosque opens, you know, at the you know, prayer time, and he is, you know, someone who influenced, the imams, like, literally he was the sheikh in tasawwuf of the people like Qadi Iyad and Qadi Abu ibn al-Araby and others. But the thing is that, when you read the Futuhat, it's what he's teasing out of the ayat of the Quran. It's shocking. But then, when you read Ibn Barjan, I again, that's my view, my, understanding is I would have given the title of Shaykh al-Akbar to Ibn Barjan. But again, that's he called Iqbal.
Allah.
Because you need to read his Quran. You need to read, his tafsir.
Yeah.
It's in print. The editor, they did. It's an age-long thing I have that, you've got, people from the East, editing manuscripts from Andalusia and the Maghrib, and, the ayats, they put them in Warsh. I mean, they don't put them in Warsh. Well, the commentators are actually using those. But again, it's a side issue. But if you really read his tafsir, and also, his shar on the Asma al-Husna, that's something beautiful as well. It's really beautiful.
Is it? Okay, wow. Definitely, that's amazing, Shaykh. And
anyway,
people, that's the works of Shaykh Ibn Barjan. Right, we will pick this up again. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Before we go, if people want Google Maps will tell you where Ibn Barjan is.
Where his tomb, where he's buried. Yeah, so in Marrakesh. Wow, so that's the.
It's actually, from Jabal Fana. If you ask someone, where's Ibn Barjan's mosque? But it'll only open at the time of prayer. They lock it afterwards.
Wow.
But inshallah. Anyway,
right, people. Absolute pleasure. Till next time, take very good care of yourselves, all of you, and Shaykh once again as well. Right, and to the viewers, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.